Well, welcome to our literary and jury charge practice. We'll go ahead and get started with the continuation of a jury charge that we had started previously, and this is actually the ending. And this was an accident case. Some of the words in here are circumstantial evidence, degree of proof, distinction, okay, let's give it a shot. Here we go. If there is not, you must find the defendant innocent and clear him. You need to know, for the purposes of this trial, how the law views direct and circumstantial evidence. The law makes no distinction between the two as to the degree of proof required. The circumstantial evidence provided by the district attorney were the tests done to determine the speed at which the defendant was moving when the accident occurred. You were told that by the district attorney. You have to determine whether, for the purpose of this trial, the evidence that the district attorney presented was sufficient to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. It is important that the district attorney prove his case beyond a reasonable doubt and that no evidence has been suppressed. Hopefully your fingers are a little bit warmed up now. Let's start working on another jury charge. This one, let's see, what words do we have in here that might be? Aids and abets. Aids and abets. Abets is A-B-E-T-S. So aiding and abetting someone in a crime. Aids and abets. Aided and abetted in the commission of the crime. Acquittal. Accessory. Accessory, like an accessory to the crime. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this one. Ready? If they had help from an individual who assisted in the planning of a crime, then you must decide whether the individual in court is that person. The individual who assisted in the planning of the crime is known as the accessory before the fact. An accessory before the fact aids and abets in the commission of a crime before the crime occurs. You must determine whether the accessory before the fact is the other defendant in this case. The accessory before the fact is also said to have aided and abetted in the commission of the crime, not by being present when the crime was committed, but by helping to plan the crime. If you find that this individual, for which there is a sworn statement indicating his involvement, is not guilty of this act, then you must move for an acquittal. A sworn statement is considered an affidavit. If this individual was not present, but helped in the commission of the crime, he is to be considered an accessory before the fact. An accessory before the fact is not present when the crime is committed, but is still guilty of committing a crime. An accessory before the fact is never present when a crime is committed, but is still guilty. If the accessory before the fact helped the principal in planning the crime, then you must find him guilty of the crime. You have heard the testimony of these 3 individuals and the testimony of the other witnesses. You must decide who is more credible. You must decide whether the defendants are innocent or guilty. It is now your opportunity to decide whether the individuals charged with the crime are guilty of the crimes charged. Your decision should be based upon the evidence in this case and not be influenced by other factors. You must not let anyone or anything influence you other than the evidence itself. If you find that the defendants are guilty as charged, then you must vote to convict. If you find that they are innocent of these charges, then you must vote for an acquittal. If you vote for an acquittal, you are saying that you do not believe that there is enough evidence to convict. Now we'll move on to something on a little bit lighter note. And we'll do a little bit of literary practice with our Dr. Seuss book. When we last left, we were at the waiting place. Okay, here we go. The waiting place. For people just waiting. Waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. Waiting for the fish to bite, or waiting for wind to fly a kite, or waiting around for Friday night, or waiting, perhaps, for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to boil, or a better break, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. No, that's not for you. Somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find the brighter places where boom bands are playing. With banner flip-flapping, once more you'll ride high, ready for anything under the sky. Ready because you're that kind of a guy. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as famous can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win, 'cause you'll play against you. All alone, whether you like it or not. Alone will be something you'll be quite a lot. And when you're alone, there's a very good chance you'll meet things that scare you right out of your pants. And on that note, we'll continue another time. Back to our jury charge material. Let's finish this one up. This is one we had started before. This was the accident in a company car. So they're saying that the company is responsible because it happened in a company car. So let's see, we have speculate, company car, all right, so let's go ahead on this one and we'll finish it up. Okay, here we go. You must find whether the company should be responsible for the acts committed by this individual. What is important is determining whether this individual acted on behalf of the company in driving in this manner. It is not for you to speculate whether there was others involved. It is true that others may have participated in the accident, but they are not involved in this trial today. It is not your responsibility to speculate into these matters. The evidence brought forth regarding others is not important to this case. This case is about the accident that occurred using a company car and whether the company has responsibility in this regard. As I indicated, the person accused is not determined to be responsible until you make your decision in that regard. When you make your decision in this regard, You must also decide the part that the company played and what its responsibility was or wasn't. You have heard the testimony of the witnesses who have identified the individual and gave testimony with regard to the accident. It is now your opportunity to decide whether the plaintiff's attorney has presented a convincing case. It is up to you to decide whether this individual was responsible for the crime. You must also decide the portion of the responsibility that the company bears in this regard. You have heard the testimony of not only these individuals, but of all the others who had evidence to present to the court. After hearing the evidence, it is up to you to decide how to vote. You must not have any prejudice because you are dealing with a business entity. All right, so to finish up, let's finish up our Dr. Seuss book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Ready? There are some down the road between hither and yon that can scare you so much you won't want to go on. But on you will go through the weather be foul. On you will go though your enemies prowl. On you will go through the hacken cracks howl. Onward up many a frightening creek, though your arms may get sore, and your sneakers may leak. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far, and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will succeed. 98 3/4% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains. All right, so we had some interesting words in this little small section. Let's see, we had great balancing act, dexterous and deft. I think that's like you're flexible. Dexterous, DEXTEROUS. Dexterous and deft, DEFT. And hacken cracks, the hacken cracks howl. I've never heard of Hackencracks. I'm assuming that's made up, but I don't know for sure. Hackencracks, it's spelled in here Hakken hyphen Kraks. And they must howl. But whether they're actual real or not, I don't think so. And we had hither and yon. Yon is Y-O-N. So hither and yon, like in the distance. So interesting. Again, it can apply to being a student, being in school, and some very simple words, but then some challenges as well. So I hope everyone did okay with that. And that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice. Thank you.